on behalf of the Institute for Leadership and Strategic Foresight. Welcome to So You Want to Be the Chief, a podcast for leaders.
Well, it's another great day here out in the beautiful mountains of Colorado. I'm speaking with a new friend. She is Chief Master Sergeant retired Amber Houghton. Did I say it right, Amber?
Yes, sir.
Okay, who I just met online just a couple of days ago or so. But she's got some interesting things to say and does some pretty cool stuff. But anyway, thank you for joining us. And I don't know how you pronounce. Is it Navarre? How do you say Navarre?
Yep, Navarre, Florida.
Florida. I say Florida because I'm Latino, but where it's beautiful and I guess it's beautiful. I'm in Colorado. It's very early in the morning, so the sun isn't up yet. We'll find out what it's like, but it's usually pretty good. So again, welcome to the show, Chief. And how long did you serve? Was it like, I think I saw on your bio, it was 23, 26 years?
28.
28. I was close if you do the math. 28. What did you do in our great Air Force?
I was an ammo troop, so munitions, building bombs and missiles and anything that goes boom.
Wow, that's pretty cool. Now, okay, I don't want to be sexist, but I'm an old guy. Back in the day, we didn't have women in those career fields. It was
Yes,
all
sir.
guys. I don't know why, because we like to blow stuff up, I guess, and women know better. So is that a new thing, or a fairly new thing to have women in ammo?
So I think when I started and I'll date myself here in 1994, I joined December 21st of 1994. And the first thing that my grandma said to me was, "Do you have a death wish?" when she found out what career field
Oh,
I had chosen.
yeah, yeah. Well,
And
but the
so
good
I
thing
think
about it,
women like to blow things up too.
yeah, do you? Well, you we teach you that. But is grandma still around?
No, she's not.
Oh, well, well, she's looking down from heaven, and with a reminder that even though all those crazy things that even our women, our female airmen do, everybody does, we train people. We don't just let you
Mhm.
go out and do stuff. We train you. This is the way to do it, the wrong way. We don't want to do the wrong way, but that way we know that we're doing it the correct way and the safe way. Back in the
Mhm.
day, I think in your day too, we always said safety first. No matter what, it's always safety first. And sometimes we had to abort missions because it wasn't safe, and I think that's always been a good thing that we did, and we did it well. Because I don't even remember in 50 years that I served altogether, any of our folks getting hurt because they did something wrong while they were doing their job. The enemy came and did stuff,
Right.
and that happened. But our folks were always good, and we were training them well. So now, where are you from? Florida originally, or where are you from?
I am not. I'm from Trenton, New Jersey.
Oh, okay.
That's where I was born. We spent time going back and forth from Trenton to South Florida. So I've probably lived in about 8 or 9 different cities in South Florida,
Yeah,
but we were always moving. So
yeah,
just
yeah,
seemed like one relative moved, we all moved.
yeah. Now,
And
did you move a lot? Go ahead. Your dad
my dad
was.
was a Marine for a little bit.
Oh,
So
cool. Very cool. So that's where you got the spirit.
yeah.
Did you move around a lot when you were on active duty?
Not as much as I thought. I probably every 2 or 3 years, which for some reason, I thought it might be more. I might have gone to a lot more different stations, but because I was married to another active duty individual, they could only find certain places for us. So
Right.
I was stationed at Hurlburt twice, and I was stationed at Eglin twice.
Yeah.
So we spent a lot of time in Florida. It's just one of the places. Anywhere they had 2 bases that were close together is where
Yeah.
we ended up at.
Yeah. Now, and as I mentioned, Amber, that career field used to be all men. Did you find any? I guess I can. If the term is sexism, did the guys treat you like a regular airman, or hey, there she is, with a capital S and HEE, or did they treat you like just like everybody else?
So I think it depended on the people that I was around. So there were times where there were some inappropriate actions and gestures and words, and there were times where I served with individuals that would not allow that. So
Yeah,
it was kind of a mixture.
yeah,
I will say that the ones that had a no tolerance for that, those ended up being some of the better experiences. But you know, there's a way to handle everything, I believe,
Yeah.
with grit and grace. And so you just have to find that sweet spot.
Yeah.
And there were several times that, you know, those situations got a little nasty and we were able to reconcile and everything became copacetic. So
Yeah.
it's just about, you know, everybody has feelings and humans, we are very unpredictable.
Yeah.
And so working through that. But you have, you know, it takes a lot of patience and understanding. And again, drawing those boundaries and saying, no, I'm not going to accept that you're
Yeah.
talking to me like that.
Yeah.
So
And us guys are stupid. We don't know any better, you know. You would think that we would have learned from our moms a lot better, but we didn't. Uh, now, did you, as and I don't know what the term is, Chief, female ladies, I don't know what it is. Did you help each other? You know, I see these memes on social media about women helping each other, and usually it's in a negative vein and it's a derogatory because somebody said something about another woman and all that. So now they start fighting with each other, and almost sometimes rightfully so. But did the women during your time did you all take care of each other? Like in those cases, somebody says something that they shouldn't say, something inappropriate. Would you come to their side and tell them, hey, this is how you deal with it because it's going to happen. You know, you humans are humans. It's going to happen.
right,
And here you need to again go back to training, right? This is the way you deal with that so that it is respectful and appropriate. Us guys, you know, and a lot of times on our behalf, we don't know any better. We think we think it's funny, and it's not funny. It's
right,
disrespectful, you know. So did
right.
you take care of each other that way?
So I think in the beginning of my career, because there were so few of us, there was a lot of competition amongst the females, which caught me off guard because, you know, there's only, I think in the majority of the bomb dumps I was assigned to, there was maybe three or four of us out of, you know, a couple hundred guys. So it was that surprised me, that took me off guard. And it kind of built the way that I made the decision and how to interact with my female sisters. And part of that is saying, hey, no, we're going to straighten each other's crowns behind closed doors. We're going to help each other grow. We're going to be able to be that network that we need, that support system that we need to be able to have these blunt conversations. You know, I used to call them Tourette's moments, like get it all out, get the anger, get the frustration, you know, how dare he say that to me, et cetera. Get it all out behind closed doors, and then
Yeah,
let's go fix the situation. Because at
yeah,
the end of the day, we have to work together. And in order to work together, we have to respect each other and trust each other and know that they have our back. So,
yeah. And some of the those memes that I see, some of those conversations, it's women versus women, which
mhm,
and again, we should be respectful of everyone, regardless of gender,
yes,
anything, nationality, color, skin, whatever. But you know, I always think, well, you know, the older, I'll say older, the more mature people should take care of the less mature people. Again, teach them that this is the way we do things. This is the right way to do this. Because if we don't do this, Amber, they won't know. I remember at the Air Force
absolutely.
Academy, the AOCs, the commanders, the officers complaining about, well, these young cadets, they don't do this, they don't do this. My first question always was, did you train them, sir? Well,
Mhm.
no. Okay, well, who trained them? You don't want them to do this. You want them to do this, but who's training them? Because we assume that they got trained by somebody who did that, you know, and all of our basic training is not going to cover everything. You know, they can't possibly cover everything. And then, you know, I don't, well, I was going to say if I remember basic training, I don't, but it's been 50 some years, man. So, so we got to do it. I think it behooves us, and especially now because we're talking about chiefs, the chiefs should put, you know, I did this, I still do it, pull someone aside. I did this with the major the other day. Sir, maybe you shouldn't do that. You know, consider this.
Mhm.
I'm not on active duty anymore. I can't tell you how to do things, but consider this because you probably didn't think and you probably don't want to do that and come off that way. And in that conversation, that major said, yeah, you're right, Chief. I didn't mean to do that. Well, fix it because you did. And the more you do it, like anything else, you practice, you get better at it, even if it's a bad thing.
Right.
So
Oh,
now,
I agree.
now you are now, and I saw a coach, a personal coach. Is that the business that you're
Yes.
in?
So yep. So I've started Elite Performance Strategies, and I am a leadership and performance mindset coach for football coaches and football athletes.
Oh,
So it came about pretty interesting. I saw my son, and he's been playing football since he was 5, and this just football is life for him. And so we were at a 7-on-7 tournament in Atlanta, and I just saw a kid just break down on the in the middle of the game. He missed a game-winning touchdown. He just beat himself up, like literally on the field, was like, smacking himself in the head. And I'm just like, man, I know that pressure.
yeah.
I know how incredibly heavy that can be. And so what I did was I just took him aside and I taught him some basic tips and tricks, to help get that out of his system and be able to reset and refocus and move on to the next game. And then it was interesting because the coach was like, wow, I've never seen anybody do that. And I've been working with my son on it. And then I started working just organically with other athletes at the high school. And so this year I went and I offered my services to the local high school, and the head coach agreed to bring me on. And so I did leadership and performance mindset with both the coaching staff and with the athletes. And then I also am doing some of the recruiter assistance. I'm an assistant recruiting coordinator to help them get with the goals and the milestones and, kind of like, so you want to play college ball, this is the path that we need to get you on.
Wow. Wow. Well, and although we have not ever met before, I guess what is it? I'm channeling you because that's what we started talking about, the training. It goes back to
Mhm.
that training, how you raise your kids. I just started I didn't have enough podcasts. I have 6. And so I had to start another one with my granddaughter, who's 11 years old, which is called the ABCs of Character. And the idea
Mhm.
is that we have conversations about what is character, because I think the youngsters, that's what they need to begin with, that foundation, all of us, but especially she's a 6th grader. So if we start there and it works, that's great. But again, we get, Stephen Covey, I'm sure you know the name, taught me
I do.
that our national paradigm is fire, aim, ready. And that's backwards. We need to prepare them, then guide them, then help them to
Mhm.
prepare them to be successful instead of go do it and we'll figure it out later, because that never works. So I'm so
Yep.
glad that you're doing this. And this was now what years are your most of your clients in? High school?
So anywhere between, yep, to middle school and high school.
Okay.
So the earliest I've started is at 12. So 12
Okay.
to 18 right
Okay.
now.
Well, and God bless you. I was just with my granddaughter. They live in Missouri, so I was there a couple months ago, and my daughter got me to talk to the kids, the 6th graders, or all of them. Whoa! I thought I used to have energy, Chief, but
Yes.
you don't know this yet. Give it 40 years and you'll understand. It starts to dwindle right around when you hit 70. It's like, oh, I don't want to do this anymore. And then eventually it's like, oh, I can't do this anymore. That's when it really sucks, because you just don't, you can't do what you used to do the way you used to do it. You'll
Yeah.
get there.
Very
But
humbling.
yes, but those youngsters, and again, I think maybe, I don't know. I guess there's some scientists that know better than anybody else what years to do it. But I think that's a good time to catch them before they start messing up, and just after they've grown up a little bit. So, but still a
Right.
lot of energy. I can't even imagine if football players. You talking to football? Oh my gosh! Although you probably can set them down pretty quickly.
Yes. So again, 28 years working in a male-dominated career
Yeah,
field, I think set me up beautifully to be able to make this transition. And honestly, there's so many parallels between football and the military, and what they're asking of their guys and what we ask of our guys.
yeah,
So it's a pretty smooth transition as far as that goes. I still encounter some of the, entrenched mindset on focusing on the mental side. Like it's football is 80% mental. I don't, uh, you have to be physical, absolutely, but
right.
you have to have a high football IQ. You have to be able to reset yourself. You have to be able to recover. I mean, there's so many things that go into football. It is not just, a bunch of guys, 22 guys out on the field slamming into each other. There's so
Right.
much technique. So it's interesting. I'm really enjoying being immersed into this community and this culture.
Yeah,
And I'm really excited to help these young men. My heart goes to the ones who are in unfortunate situations. So
yeah,
that's really my goal,
yes,
is to be able to build my business to a place where I can then give back and feed back into a nonprofit to be able to help the underprivileged
yeah,
athletes.
yeah. Uh, there's a lot of talk, and I guess maybe it's always been there, Chief. But I see on social media chiefs who are about to retire or just retired because you retired in 23.
23. Yes,
Okay,
sir.
that's where that 23 number came into my head a while ago. But and a lot of people, and particularly chiefs, I think, because we've been doing this ammo thing for almost 30 years. I know how to do
Mhm.
this. I know how to blow things up, but there's not a lot of work out there in the civilian world for blowing things up. I'm sure there are some jobs, but not a whole heck of a lot of jobs. So
Right.
what do I do? And what I think your testimony just now was that sometimes you don't even realize that this is coming your way. You see something and you see the need, which is what we taught the chiefs to begin with.
Mhm.
I don't know how you feel about it. Please argue with me if you want. But uh, back in my day, we used to say, once a chief, always a chief. And a chief was a chief, not an ammo chief, not a fire chief, not a band chief. That's what I am. We were chiefs, and that was number one. And in fact, I had, I don't know, 3 or 4 different AFSCs as a chief because I could do those type of things, those executive, I guess we could say, type of things in any career field. And I think that's for those chiefs in particular who are about ready to retire and don't know what they're going to do. Go look. I mean, literally look around, observe. There may be something that you have skills for, and you probably do, especially leadership skills that someone
Absolutely.
needs, and then offer yourselves. It's funny. I had this friend. I think he's still my friend. He retired as a chief, and he said, "I don't want to lead anymore. I'm going to get me a job just doing stuff, being a follower, because he was
Hmm.
tired of it. So he moved to San Antonio, and he got a job driving school buses. Well, within a year, he was in charge of all the district school bus drivers and all that. Ernie Esquivel, if you're out there, Ernie, God bless you, man. But I remember that conversation. I thought, well, yeah, sure, whatever. But we will go up to the top pretty quickly because of the skills, the leadership skills. So, what's your advice for transitioning people? And again, now let me tell you, when I didn't retire, they threw me out, but I didn't know. I retired in Ramstein in Germany, so I didn't know what I was going to do. I had no network, nothing. Been there 6 years, so I had nothing to come back to, and I was blessed to come to the Air Force Academy. But how do you set yourself up so that you don't? And what I was going to say is, those were nervous months. What am I going to do? I have no idea. And for those who think that your retirement pay is going to cover your, no, it's not.
Yeah.
You gotta go work unless you did something really that you should be in jail for. But so how do you transition? What prepared you to make the transition?
So I kind of saw the train coming and I tried to avoid it. I wasn't very successful. And what I did, and I do not recommend this, the first thing I want to say is to everybody, you're not alone. So don't do your best not to, draw the shutters and close the doors and just be alone because you're not. All of us are feeling this way. And I think that's important for everybody to understand because I didn't understand that. I felt, it's almost like when you retire, it's almost like a PCS, right? You're gone and everybody stops reaching out after a while and it gets really quiet and sometimes it gets too quiet and you feel that just your whole world, right, has been adjusted or restarted and you're on a whole new path. And yes, it's exciting. And yes, you can change your mindset to look at it as an adventure, but you still feel the loss of the men and the women that you always knew were going to have your back, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And so what I recommend before transitioning to start going to these groups, the VFW, your local American Legion, getting online, joining some of the groups, even if you don't feel comfortable being, present in person, just be there and see and hear some of the other journeys people are taking because that's going to help you. It's going to help with the quietness and the hey, what do I do now? The second piece was I really wanted to do something that refills my cup, right? And when I say that, like I wanted to give back. And so all of these skills, 28 years of skills in leading, um, forming teams, going places, everything that I have in my skill set, and I wanted to give back. And I've found that to be the most rewarding. And there's a really cool program for anybody who's thinking about coaching. It's not just for football, any coach. It's called Soldiers to Sidelines. And they do a phenomenal job of helping you if you're transitioning into being a coach. And coaching is extremely rewarding, frustrating at times, right? But extremely rewarding as far as giving back. And so I would just you've got to sit and really think about what brings you joy, what refills your cup, and then go out and find those opportunities. They're there,
Yeah, and don't be afraid.
right?
Well, I really like this, but I don't know that much about it. And well, I'm sure there's a spot for an assistant something that will get you
Yes.
into, at least get your foot in, like we did at the very beginning of our careers.
Mhm.
That'll get you in the get your foot in the door, and then start growing from there.
And that's funny you mentioned that because I had a lot of trepidation about going into the football community because I'm not in X's and O's and like I have yet. I haven't learned all the X's and O's pieces of the football game yet. And so I've been making that effort so that I could speak the same language as the athletes and coaches. But it's learning something very, very new to me. And I was also hesitant because I wasn't sure how I wasn't sure if I wanted to go back into a male dominated career field and go through that again, that proving myself, showing up, being able to earn that credibility. And I will tell you that it's been the best decision. It really has for me. Watching these young men get an offer or, you know, bounce back after a bad play and make a outstanding game changing play. I mean, they one guy ran off the field and picked me up and was like, Miss Amber, did you see that? And I'm like, okay, put me down, please. Because I'm only 5'2".
Yeah,
but
right. Yeah,
but it is those are those moments that just fill my soul with so much joy. And again, transitioning, find something that you love, find
yeah.
something that lights you on fire.
Yeah, and I think, and we learned this somewhere. I'm not sure that we ever got taught this, but it's all about confidence. I think a lot of times, Chief, that and not confidence that you know everything or enough, because probably not, but confidence in that I will give my best, no matter
Mhm.
what. Yeah, I'll clean towels or pass out towels at the gym, whatever. But I will do it to the best of my ability, which is what we expected of our troops or followers back in
Mhm.
the day. And we can just do that and then grow from that, and it'll happen. It'll happen. So, and I like the idea, and I guess we call it networking, knowing people that do stuff, that need stuff, and then offering your services. And now
Absolutely.
I coached way back 100. You weren't even born, I don't think. Uh, 9 and 10-year-old boys basketball in the Philippines when I was stationed there the first time. And oh, what a joy, man! Those guys, I can still see them. And we had 7-foot goals, baskets,
Mhm.
and I would do this just to mess with them. I say, go dunk it, go dunk. You wouldn't, but they'd jump all over, they'd go on top of each other to dunk it because the coach said dunk it. I want to dunk it, and it was amazing. But I quit after the second season because of the parents. I
Yeah.
couldn't deal with the parents. So I hope most of us are. And if you're out there, you have a kid, a child that is playing sports, back off, parents, because all those parents, they all wanted their Bobby to be on, a starter. They all want him to get a lot of playing time. And, and sometimes I had to be almost rude and tell him, Bobby has two left hands. He doesn't know how to coordinate those two left hands. So I can't put him in all the time. And we had the program was the third quarter, all the scrubs, those the bench would play. So they all got to play, but the parents were terrible. And, I see stuff on social media where parents are beating up on coaches and referees and all that stuff. It's a sport. Yeah, it's competitive and all that kind of stuff. But we need to teach them to be respectfully competitive, which doesn't happen even, now,
Right.
and especially I'm thinking about the Cowboys. We should be respectful of the Cowboys, that they are America's team, right, Chief?
Yes.
Oh no. Okay. Well, we won't get
Well
into that.
done.
Yeah.
It is my son's favorite team, so I'll
Okay.
get behind that.
Okay. That's good. That's good. Yeah. It's they're getting to be the wait till next year Cowboys, but whatever.
That's okay.
I think
It's an ebb and flow, ebb and flow.
yeah, yeah, well, more is it ebb go downward?
Yeah.
So so
I would like to go back to the parents though really quick. And
sure.
so that's something I also offer for the parents is to
Oh,
be able to figure out, hey, why? Why do I feel the need to jump up and scream and yell and be angry with the coaches and the officials. And so it's hard, right? As a parent, I want the very best for my son. I want him to achieve all of his goals. I think all parents want that for their kids. And when we see and we don't stop and breathe and think about what's happening, right? We see what we perceive as an injustice against our child.
yeah.
That's where the emotions overtake the rationale. And I mean, I'm with you. I've seen and heard things where I was just like, wait, what is happening? This is the kid's sport. My son's at the time he was 9 years old. I'm like, why are we rushing the field right now? What's happening?
Yeah.
So being able to like calm down and not use those words calm down, but just kind of breathe and say, hey, yes, I want the best for my kid, but this is what am I teaching them and what am I showing to everyone around me when I behave this
Yeah.
way? It's interesting. There's been quite a few times where I was in between a coaches and parents and cops, and I was trying to
Oh,
calm everybody down.
oh my
I'm like,
gosh.
everybody, just calm down. You go over there. You go over there. Like, let the cop do their job. It was intense. It was
Yeah.
really intense. So
Yeah.
some of those 7-on-7 tournaments can get a little
Yeah.
intense.
Well, I saw that meme on Facebook, and I used that on my wife Deb. I don't know what was happening. I said, "Calm down." I've never said that again. I I think the bruises are gone, but it does not work. And I think one thing that we need to remember, Amber, is that we learn from watching. We
Hmm.
are constantly modeling. You remember, I think it was Patton said that we're always on parade. It doesn't matter who we are, where we are,
Always.
that we're always on parade. Our kids are watching us and they're emulating us, good or bad. So if you want to
Hmm.
raise a good kid, be a good parent. And not, what that, I don't know, I guess we could argue what that means, but to be a good citizen because they're going to be the type of citizen that you are. And, if at least try, and that'll help all of us be better. And I think especially right now, we really do need that. And I think it all goes back
Absolutely.
to respect. Going back to my question about how you were treated as a female in the Air Force, it's all about respect. We at the academy, you hear the stories, you read the stories about
Hmm.
assaults and all that kind of wrong, 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 wrong. But not that not that it's wrong that the stories are out, but it's wrong that they do it. But and we sensationalize a lot of that stuff. The key is, I think, because I know all the SARCs and everything. I tell them, we're working or dealing with the symptom. The problem
Hmm.
is lack of respect. We've lost that, and until we gain that back, if we ever do, it won't matter because and I always taught the cadets, treat your fellow like your brothers and your sisters. Well, how would you treat your sister? you know I, I doubt that you would do those things to your sister. So
Yeah.
think about that. So well,
It's really interesting,
yeah,
I think. I'm so sorry.
go ahead.
It's really interesting, I think, because when we get new airmen, right, or you get new cadets, you're unbuilding and unwiring everything that they've learned up until that point in that
Yeah,
moment in their life. And
yeah,
it's very similar in the coaching world. They get kids from all walks of life, and they're having to rewire and unbuild those bad habits, or not, and get them to a place where they're able to see, hey, this is the way I should conduct myself.
right.
Especially in the locker room, right?
Yeah,
But yeah, it's definitely interesting. I love the challenge. I love being able to help those kids and coaches, right, have those big aha moments
yeah,
where they're like, oh, I get it, and see the positive of everything that's happening with
yeah.
with what they're learning about leadership. Because when you can tell people all day, go be a leader, and these kids are like, what does that mean? And I'm
Right.
like, I don't know. I don't know specifically what he's telling you to go do because there's like 89 to 100 attributes of a good leader. So let's sit down and figure it out.
Yep. Yep. Uh, I'm just so glad that we have people like you out there, Amber, doing the work that you do. I know there are days when you're going to think, oh, why the heck am I doing this? Well, because it's important. That's the reason, and because you care. I've always said that the number one attribute of a good and effective leader, chief, is caring. That's different with every person because
Mhm.
how they expect you to care is going to be different. They're different people, but if you care, that's at least 80% of it. Then you'll figure out the other stuff. But thank you so much for
Absolutely.
what you do. Thank you for being on this show. I hope
Well,
that we
thank
can
you.
keep this relationship growing because uh, I don't know that I can help you. I'm here to help you if I can, but and especially because I love the kids. I have, excuse me, I have a sign in my office that I saw in my grandkids' elementary school several years ago that says, "Tell the kids I love them, God." I think
Oh,
that's what it's all about. It's all about, and the way we're going to express that God's will is by just caring for them and taking care of them. And sometimes that means slapping them upside the head.
yeah.
No, not really, not really, not really. I didn't say that. I didn't say
Tough
that.
love.
That's
Tough
true.
love.
That's true. You are a mom. I can tell.
Yep.
Well, again, thank you very much. And if you need me for anything, just give me a buzz. You know how to reach me.
All right. I appreciate you so much, Chief. Thank you.
God bless you.
All right. Bless you.
Thank you for listening. We hope that you've gained something from this episode that will empower you to become a more effective leader. If you'd like to connect with us, please do so via our website at leadershipandforesight.org. The book So You Want to Be the Chief is available on Amazon.com and on Apple Books. This podcast is powered by the Institute for Leadership and Strategic Foresight.